So when I send, the first thing I'll do is I'll ask my horse to back up, and I'm just gonna kind of wave the rope and wiggle it. I'll cluck a kiss at him, just to really get him to move away from me here. Good boy. I'm gonna take a deep breath, let him know he did a good job. He's kind of half asleep, so I had to use quite a bit of pressure. I'm gonna see if I can use less pressure now. Very good. And get him to back up. So I'm gonna get a little more here. So ideally I wanna get his back legs kind of on the circle where I want him to go. So that's step number one, okay? Then step number two is I'm gonna ask him to move his front end over onto the circle, because he's gotta be facing that way, right? And the way I'm gonna do that, I'm just gonna pick up on my line, pick up on my stick, and I'm gonna kind of enclose here. I'm gonna ask him to step over. Good boy. I'm gonna say, don't go forward yet, but that's step number two, getting that front end to swing over away from me, okay? And then step number three is I'm gonna put pressure behind him. Good boy. I'm gonna take a deep breath to slow him down, but I'm gonna put pressure behind him in order to drive him forward, okay? So those are the three steps that we're gonna be taking. We're going to make sure that we back him up, we move that front end over, and then we drive him forward, okay? I'm gonna have you do that in a second, but I wanna explain like why that's so important. The backing up is just basically saying, hey, I don't want you going forward, right? Horses instinctively always wanna go forward. When things go wrong with a horse, they're running, they're taking off, they're bolting, they're bucking, they're trying to go forward, right? So from the very get-go, I'm saying, no. In fact, I so much want you to not think forward that I'm telling you to think back first before I actually ask you to send out, okay? Then the second thing is direction, right? You got to be able to control your horse, right? There's nothing worse than being on a horse that won't turn and it feels like you're driving a Mack truck. And so, like, you'll probably experience that with Andre.
Oh yeah, no power steering.
And so, like, you want to really, like, be able to, with light pressure, get that horse to turn, right? If you can turn them on the ground like that, you're going to be able to turn them, you're going to be more likely to be able to turn them under saddle as well. And then lastly, with lots of clarity, it's like, okay, when I get in position, not when you just feel like it, like I don't want him to just walk off on his own, but when I get into position, right? And then when I ask you to go, then you can go, okay? So those three things are just really huge in just building expectations and teaching him like what I want you to do when I want you to do it. Make sense?